Good morning, Year 5. Today we are going to be looking at working out areas of rectangle, okay? So we know that the area is the space inside of a flat 2D shape. So yesterday we learned that the perimeter is the length of the outside of the shape. Today we are learning about the area, which is the inside space, okay? And it could be the space of the surface of a 3D object too, okay? So I want you to try and visualize the areas of these shapes. What shape would they be? What would they look like? Okay, so we can see here that the area inside this shape is a triangle, so it is the same. And again with this one you've got an irregular pentagon, and you can see that that's the shape it is. However, we haven't got the area of this shape underneath, and that is because this shape isn't closed. It's not a polygon, okay? So a polygon or a shape has to be completely closed to be able to find the area of it. Remember yesterday we learned a polygon is a shape with straight lines that are closed. All of the lines meet. So it's the same again for area, like perimeter yesterday. We have to have a closed shape to be able to work it out. So which shape do you think would best fill this rectangle? Okay, a circle or a square? Write it down in your books what you think. A circle or a square, and why? Okay, so as you can see in this rectangle here, the circles have been put in. However, you can see my arrow is pointing to some space. So we can see that actually the circle doesn't fill the rectangle very well. Whereas if we use the square, we can see they all sit perfectly inside of the rectangle. So the square would be the best way to fill the rectangle using squares. Okay, so we can see the area of this rectangle is 20 squares. Squares is the unit of measurement that has been used for this example. So if we were to count them, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. The area of the rectangle is 20 squares. Okay, so this girl says, I saw how many squares were in a row. So a row goes horizontally, then counted how many rows there were. So she saw that there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So she did the calculation 4 multiplied by 5 to give her 20. Okay, so she did how many squares are in a row, how many rows are there, and times those two numbers together. And the boy said, I saw how many squares were in a column. So a column goes vertically. And then I counted how many columns there were, and he came up with the calculation 5 multiplied by 4 to give him 20. So he saw there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares in a column. He saw there were 4 columns, so that is the calculation he did. Both of them worked that out correctly, okay? Because as we know, when we do multiplication, it doesn't matter which order our numbers are, they will always give us the same answer, okay? So what I would like you to do is have a go, pause this video and have a go at calculating the area of these rectangles. And you are using the unit of measurement the unit of measurement you are using is squares, okay? Okay, so let's have a look. For each of these, we could have counted how many squares are inside. So let's start that with that for this first one. So we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this one is 12 squares. The area of this rectangle is 12 squares. Okay? But then this one, I want to do what the girl did. I want to see how many rows there were, how many squares were in each row, and then how many rows there were. So I know a row goes horizontally, so I need to count the squares first. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've got 6 squares in my row. And then I want to see how many rows I've got. So I've got 1, 2. So I'm going to multiply by 2 to give me 12. So the area of that shape is 12 squares. Okay. And then I'm going to do what the boy did this time. I'm going to see how many squares are in the column, and then I'm going to see how many columns there were. So my column goes vertically. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 squares in my column. Then I need to see how many columns I've got. So I've got 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to multiply by 3, which will give me 12 squares. Okay, easy as that. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So it's telling us this square here is 1 centimetre by 1 centimetre. The area of the small square is 1 centimetre squared. Okay, we use squared at the end of our centimetres because we are using 2 dimensions. So we are using the length and the width. So they are 2 dimensions of a shape. That is why we use squared. When we do volume, we use cube because we use 3 dimensions. Okay, so this square is made out of 4 of the smallest squares. It has an area of 4 centimetres squared. Okay, so how do you think they've worked that out? They could have counted the squares inside, or they could have seen that they've got one of those boxes there. They've got another one of those boxes. So here on top, they've got 2 centimetres. And then down the side, they've got the same again. They've got 1, 2. So they've got 2 centimetres there as well. So the person could have done 2 multiplied by 2 to give them 4 centimetres squared. Okay. So the formula that you use, so the formula means something that you can add the numbers into to give you your answer. The formula you need to use is the width times the length equals area, or the length times the width to give you area. Okay, so I want to find out what is the area of this shape. So I'm going to do 4 multiplied by 6. So I'm using my formula, the width times the length. And that was going to give me 24. And it's measured in centimetres, so I need to remember to put that unit in, and I need to remember to make it squared. Okay, because remember, we're using 2 dimensions. So the area of my shape is 24 centimetres squared. Now I would like you to have a go at these ones. So you're finding the area of a rectangle and a square. Have a go at that for me. Okay, so let's think about the formula we used. Width times length, or length times width. So for this one, I'm going to do 10 multiplied by 8 to give me 80. And remember, we are working in centimetres, and I've got 2 dimensions, so it's going to be squared. So the area of this rectangle is 80 centimetres squared. And this one, it's only given me the length of one side. But hopefully you use your knowledge of shape and knowing that a square has all sides the same length. So you knew that if this side was 5 metres, this side would be 5 metres, and so would this side, and so would this side. So really, I just need to do 5 multiplied by 5 to give me 25. This time I'm working in metres, and again we are doing 2 dimensions, so it's squared. So I've done the length times the width, just like that. Okay. Next, and that is it. Okay. So that is as easy as it is today. There's going to be a little bit more challenging because you're going to have to do some problem solving towards the end. However, if you just remember what to do, you'll fly through this today, I think, like you did yesterday with perimeter. Okay, so if you are doing silver, you're going to do questions 1 to 3. If you're doing gold, you are doing questions 4 to 8. And if you are doing platinum, your questions are on the next page. And there are some example answers, but remember, with a lot of the platinum, there aren't actual answers because there are a lot of variances that you could have, variations you could have. If you want to challenge yourself, you could have a go at all of the questions, or all of the silver and gold questions and see if you are able to do them. If you need any help, please let Mrs. Willis and I know. Remember, next week is half term, so I hope you have a lovely week and you manage to get out in the sun.